There's not a whole lot I'm going to talk about here other than some vocabulary, so make sure you're writing this down in your notes. All right, so we have a scatter plot. And we've talked about this in class, so it's really not anything new here. We've got all these dots here, right? And then what our goal is we're trying to figure out a line that goes with the data, so it goes in the same kind of slope of the data, and it kind of cuts it in half almost. Now that is not a straight line because I just drew it freehand. I don't have a ruler tool on here, but you guys get the idea. Now that line has many different names. It could be called the trend line. It could be called the best fitting line. And if you're on a calculator, they like to call this the regression line. Write all three of these down. They all mean the same thing. Okay? Because these all help approximate the data, and we can use it to make predictions. I'm going to run out of room. Okay? And so what we're working on in this chapter is we're trying to find the equation of that line. And so when you do that, I don't care about the blue dots at this point. Once you've drawn the line, the blue dots don't matter anymore. We just find two spots where our line crosses the grid. So you're always going to do this on graph paper because you need the grid to be able to figure out those 2 points. Put your 2 points on a table like you're used to. Find the slope, and then use point slope form or the slope intercept form to find the equation of the line. And then from there, you use that equation to make predictions. We'll do lots of that in class. If you miss class, it's a very good idea to come in after school or before school and go over it with me just to make sure you know what you missed and understand it. The other thing that we need to talk about here is something called correlation. So correlation is just telling you how good is the line. Is a line a really good use? Like, should you use it to make a bet and win or lose money? Should you use it to make predictions, or should you not? So when you have a scatter plot, if the dots pretty much form a line themselves, this is considered really, really good. Okay, this is really good. But the more spread out the dots are from where you would put the line, okay? So you see how these are more spread out? Okay, this is not very good. This is somewhat bad. There's a lot of space between my line and my dots, right? So if I'm trying to look at how close they are versus this other one, when I draw the line, I pretty much just cover up the dots. That's really good scatter plot. And so the best fitting line is really good. So you want to look at that and determine if it's good or not. Also, there's 3 different kinds of correlation. Okay, if the dots are going up, so here's my axis and my dots are going up, just like your slope, it has a positive slope, then that means it has a positive correlation. And you should be writing this down. I totally messed up how to spell that. Let me erase that. Correlation is 2 R's, 1 L instead of the other way around. So correlation. Okay, if the dots are going down, we consider that to have a negative correlation. And if the dots are all over the place, like you can't even go up or down, they're just kind of chaos, we call that no correlation. All right. And if you're given a word problem and you need to figure out whether it's positive, negative, or no, what you want to do is you want to kind of give yourself a little sketch. I always like to do this, and then I like to be like, okay, would the dot be here, and then another dot be here, then I'd have negative, or would the dot be here, and the dot would be here, and then I'd have positive. So it all just depends on the sketch you give yourself to figure out what it is.